We have one man for the people of this constituency. We have Glenn Ghost Phillip as your representative. The man who has been distributing the computers for the school children around the island. The people have been linking and the children have been linking in on the internet via their computers. Give Glenn a round of applause for that project. Comrades, when we started that project, we were the only people in the region doing that project. Now the whole Caribbean studying our project and implementing that project. St. Kitts is always number one in doing things in the region. Give him another round of applause. And comrades, we did not only stop at the distribution for the school children. About 2 weeks ago, we distributed laptops for the teachers also. Give the teachers a round of applause. Comrades, that is what Labour is all about. Labour is a government that cares about the education of our young people. It cares about the persons who are providing the education for our young people. That is why Labour is saying that we have created the base in this country in education. We were the first government and the first party to build a secondary school in the rural areas. Down in Sandy Point High School, now the Charles Mills Secondary High School. Give Labour a round of applause. Give Labour a round of applause. That is education. And when them jokers came in between 1980 to 1995, they mashed up the thing. And Labour took over in 1995 and start again. See how much young people going away to study now? Lots of young people going away to study now. When we got in power in 1995, there were only about 5 or 6 people going away from Development Bank. And when you go to Development Bank, they asking you all kind of question. Who your mother be? Who you vote for? Where you live? Where you come from? Who your family be? Who your brother be? I don't know where else they ask you. I don't know where else they ask you. Now Labour come in power. The amount of young people going away to study now, studying come like nothing now in this country. Thanks to Labour. Give Labour a round of applause. Anything that could do, we could do it better. And that is what Labour has done in education in this country. That is the confidence we have created in the young people in this country. Children of ordinary sugar workers now have the opportunity to get degrees like anybody else in this country. Like anybody else. Anybody else in this country. And everybody, and we are picking out the village you come from, you know. No village where you come from. Everybody in this country now has an opportunity. Because of Labour. That is the confidence in Labour. That is the confidence in your Prime Minister, the Honourable Dr. Denzel Douglas. I've got confidence. God is gonna see no matter what. Comrades, and while I'm talking about education, you know, we now have a good education minister. We have a now good education minister who doing good, despite they have some people who was there with us, who wanted to mislead and create confusion in some of the school them. But we got them early o'clock and we correct those matters, and we have those matters under control. We now have the Minister of Education who trying to correct all those matters. I want you to help me to welcome to the microphone our Minister of Education, your Minister of Education, the Honourable Nigel Carty, your Minister of Education. Welcome to the microphone, the Honourable Nigel Carty.
Oh, what a night, what a night, what a night. Oh gosh, what a night. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms. dancing to a reggae song. Feel good, feel good, I feel good.
Labour comrades are feeling good. I feel good. I feel good because I'm wrapped up in the comrades' arms tonight. Comrades of Labour, you feeling good? Good night to all of you. I'm feeling good because we had a successful meeting over in Barabbas land. We had a successful meeting on Thursday over in Barabbas land. And you hear what happened on Friday? Over in Barabbas land. But we're going to take it away and make it Labour land. When the next elections are called, Dr. Vance Gilbert will be elected by the people of constituency number 7. You deserve a man in government, a real man in government who will look after everybody, who will put not just his family first, who will put not just himself first, but will put all the people of constituency number 7 first. Could you put your hands together for Dr. Vance Gilbert? Vance Gilbert has come to serve the people of the country. And I know that he'll get your support because he's an honest man, a decent man. Give him a round of applause. And the people say, let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. The man say, nothing true or say. And when the people ask him, he say only one thing true. He say only one thing true. They say, tell me about the lap dance. He say, it happened only once. They say the lap dance only happened once. We say once is too much. Once is too much. Comrades, I say to you that before the throne of God Almighty, truth is a defense. Truth is a defense. And when people have been talking about values and morals and ethics, now the time has come to talk the truth. They're running, they're hemming, they're hawing. They can't deal with the truth. Because for years they have walked around town in their jacket and tie and glasses, fooling people about their decency, covering themselves as wolves in sheep's clothing. But now the people know the truth. And the people say, let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. A gentleman met me in Church's Chicken. He said, Mr. Carty, I can't believe that the VAT could have been 13% had we been able to find that $44 million. Had we been able to find the $44 million, the VAT could have been down to 13%. The VAT could have been down to 13%. Here is a Minister of Finance who was your Minister of Finance for 18 months, from August of 2008 to January of 2010. And during that period of time, when government issued a tax bill to a big businessman in town for $50,000, 50, the ministry, under his leadership, through his negotiation, whittled down the bill from $50 million down to $6 million. You not got to go and the University of Concordia in Canada to understand that something wrong about that. That something happened with the $44 million. Something got to be wrong about that, and no water gonna wash it off. It gone somewhere in somebody's pocket. It gone in a somebody pocket. And when you see them building 2 houses, from since the man in office, he built 2 houses already. He got a big brother for $289,000, over $250,000. You have to explain those things to the people of the country. You have to explain those things to the people of the country. People want to know where it come from. poor people will want something to live under the head. Over in number 7, 2 houses, a big Prado cost over $250,000. Things gone missing and people don't know how we gone. People must understand that this is the time in our country to ensure that we have propriety and decency in government, and that we do not allow people to parade in their jacket and tie and fool us. We understand what's going on. We know what's going on. And one of the issues, that people have been talking about is transparency in your own personal life. Saturday on the radio, Doya Astafan say it shouldn't matter if you're transparent in your personal life or not. It doesn't matter if you're transparent in your personal life or not. And I told you that the Labour Party is an inclusive party. We want everybody, Rastafarians, Christians, Hindus, Muslims, whomsoever you are, this is the party for you. If you're straight or you're gay, this is the party for you. Because we believe in civil rights, human rights. Because we have Christian principles. But we know that we are not a church organization. We are not a church organization. We embrace everybody. Let you work out your own salvation. Let you work out your own salvation. Labour will provide a big camp where you can have your rights protected and pursued in this country of our birth. And so, when the topic was raised of people's sexual preference, and that people who are running for public office must declare. Nobody tell you hide. Nobody tell you you're wrong. People say make a declaration. Make a declaration about it. You know why? You know why that is important? Because people who are vying for public office, people must know who they are, what their inclinations are. Whether when they get in government, they will want to lead our country down the road of same-sex marriages and civil unions. I ain't saying nothing wrong with that. But if you got certain tendencies, that's how you're going to move. And that's how you're going to act. And that's how you're going to run government. We say you must make a declaration. We say you must make a declaration. Because people who live lives in closets are people who are always doing something behind the door. Always doing something behind the door. It becomes your nature to live in a closet when you live in a closet for too long.
Man to man is so unjust. Children, you don't know who to trust.
Man to man is so unjust. That's what the song says. Man to man is so unjust. Now I want to tell you something before I move on. Because I believe it's important for us to engage all sectors of society as we move forward to deal with the issues that confront us. The church community must become involved. Because the church is the conscience of the society. And the church must know who want to run the country. And to help our people in our congregations to understand what's wrong from what's right, what's reasonable from what is unreasonable. But when you go in and nobody know who you be, how are we going to be able to call upon God to get his direction for your life and for the government of which you are part? We like to talk about America and all that happening in other places when it suits us. I want to read for you part of an article about a man who was the governor of New Jersey in the USA. The name of the man was Governor McGreevey. He was a homosexual, but he was in hiding. And when it was found out, he had to resign. And the people say, if you had told us before, it would have been all right. It would have been all right. And the article here says, Governor James McGreevey resigned Thursday, announcing that he had an affair with a man and that it had left him vulnerable to false allegations and threats of disclosure. Threats of disclosure meaning people want to release video. People want to release video. And he said based upon that, he had to resign. He continues by saying in the article, my truth is that I am a gay American. This, the 47th year of my life, is arguably too late to have a discussion. But at this point, in every person's life, one has to look deeply into the mirror of one's soul. He says, I engaged in an adult consensual affair with another man. It was foolish, and for this, I ask the forgiveness of the American people. The story continues, and this to me is the most serious part. The most serious part, because closeted dealings breed corruption. When people want to go and look for their mates, every time they travel, they divert their trip from England to Barbados, from Trinidad to Barbados, from Israel to Barbados, at taxpayers' expense. If he had been open, if the man had been open, if a man is open, or a woman, you don't have to hide. You don't have to hide. You can say, this is my mate. This is my man. This is my woman. As the case may be. The story continues. Golan Saipel, McGreevy's former lover, served in the governor's administration. You see, people getting into your administration not because of their competence, but because of your desire to protect relationships and to feather your own nest and keep your own love affair going in the way you want it to go. We say nothing is wrong with that. If you have a lover who is of the same sex, if that is what you want. The story continues. And he earned $110,000 US per year as a Homeland Security advisor. The story continues. Listen very carefully. But Saipel, a published poet, the former lover of Governor McGreevy, a native of Israel, resigned after it was discovered that he had exaggerated his credentials, lied about his credentials, lied about his qualifications. And where do you think all of that come from? All of that came from the need to protect relationships that were not supposed to be discovered by the public, weren't supposed to be brought into the public domain. So we say to all of them whom questions have been raised about, they must make it clear to the people of the country whom they want to lead. Let them come clean. Let them come clean. Let them come clean. Nobody is judging them. I remember the story of the woman at the well. When people came to Jesus and said, we found this woman in the very act of adultery. And he looked at them. He bent down on the ground, started to write. He says, whichever of you have no sin, cast the first stone. And as he wrote down on the ground, and he looked back up, he saw nobody. He said, woman, where are your accusers? Woman, where are your accusers? He says, Lord, I have none. I have none. And he, Jesus Christ, who caught this woman in the very act of adultery, said, neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. But we say transparency is important. Transparency is important. You're talking about clean reputation and transparency in government. And you want to get in there, you must say to people who you are, what you are, who you love. And what you're about, Sammy, you're right about that. what you are about.
Breathe for me.
So, comrades, they tried to derail the budget. But the budget came through. The budget came through clean as a whistle. And so the people of the country are no longer talking about the high debt, because that has been reduced to the pleasure of the people and to the benefit of the people, from about 187% of GDP down to about 80%. And we are confident from the projections that in 2 years' time, it will be down under 60%, which is where the central bank say we want it to keep the country sustainable on a fiscal footing. The people ain't talking about the crime, because though every day in every country there is crime, we have fought over the last 3 years to bring crime down to manageable levels. And safety has been restored. Security has been restored, and the people feel good. They have confidence in the Labour Party administration. Confidence. And so, when the disunity team met on Tuesday, in the margins of the budget debate, they had nothing to talk about. Timothy Harris said that all the crime has gone down by over 50%. His own ambition. He said crime is still high in the country. Well, we know that crime exists in every country, but we are saying this is the party that over the last 5 years has shown you, demonstrated to you, that we have the capacity to keep your security, to keep your safety. And we say, going forward, this is the party, this is the organization that will ensure that the country is kept safe and sound. Don't experiment with nobody who ain't got no experience. Talk is cheap. Whiskey costs money. My grandmother used to say, don't let nobody take away your bread and can't give you biscuit. Don't let nobody take away your bread and can't give you biscuit. That is what they're doing. It's easy to make promises. I can promise you the world on a string. Promise you the rainbow. But when the time has come to deliver, that's where people come up short. That's where people come up short. When the time has come for people to deliver. And so, because of the budget and its successful passage in the House on Tuesday, I can say to you that 50 more scholarships will be added to the roll of scholarships for students in St. Kitts-Nevis. 50 budget money going towards the education of young people. Your daughter gonna get a scholarship. Your son gonna get a scholarship. Your grandchild will get a scholarship. Because added to what we have already, we have 50 scholarships in the making for young people. Public servants will receive their salaries. They try to stop it, but public servant salaries have now been secured. We have road repairs, Southeast Peninsula, village roads and alleyways will now be paved. Will now be paved and paved swiftly. That is ongoing and it will pick up speed. Medicine in the hospital for our patients. Free medicine for our elderly people. Free home care for our elderly people. For our indigent. And we say the budget has brought that to the people of the Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis. We say the laptop distribution will continue. The order has been made on Wednesday since the budget was passed. And students of first forms and other teachers are in the due for their laptops coming soon. Put your hands together for Glenn Ghost Philip. That's the man in charge of that. That's the man in charge of that. Making sure that all people are connected to the outer world and have at their disposal the best tools for education and the empowerment of our young people. Because of the budget, the people who work on the industrial estate can now be guaranteed a pension. that after working 15 and 20 years on the estate, after working 15 and 20 years on the estate, and they have to leave their place of work, they can now go home and be assured that they have a pension. They have a pension or gratuity. They have a gratuity. They can leave their work with big money and ensure that they have money to keep them either until they get new employment or form their own businesses. And that happened as a result of the work of Marcella Liebert. Marcella Liebert, put your hand together for her. Edinburgh told you on Saturday on Inside the News that throughout the life of this administration, you had a number of ministers of Labour. Dwyer Stefan was one. Timothy Harris was one. Sam Kanda was one. And those kinds of benefits have never been secured until Marcella Liebert came on the scene. Gratuity for industrial estate workers. Put your hands together for Marcella Liebert. And something else which Marcella Liebert did, or is in train of doing right now, putting on board for the people of the country the National Health Scheme. The National Health Scheme would make sure that the government health scheme will be expanded to every Tutmun and Sam in the country so that healthcare can be of reduced cost to your pocket. That you don't have to stay at home and suffer from your illness because you don't have the money to pay the doctor, because you don't have the money to pay for the operation. Marcella Liebert has brought the National Health Scheme for the people of the country. And we are proud of that. Put your hands together for Marcella. Comrades, the farmers will benefit. They'll get their fertilizer because of the budget. They will get housing as pig farmers for their pigs. We will expand the PEP program to assist farmers who need labor help on their farms. And we will make sure that fencing is provided, shade houses are provided for farmers in the country. I want to say to you that Glenn Goes Philip is your best choice for Labour and the country in constituency number 4. There's a man who came to you some time ago saying to you that he wanted to be the leader of the country and wanted to be your representative in constituency number 4. They call him Mr. Grant. But Mr. Grant is like the others who cares not for people. He cares for himself. He told himself that he must be a leader in this country because he was born a child of privilege. But the people denied him in 2004 and in 2010, and they must deny him again that opportunity to run roughshod over the people of the country. This is the man who in 2010, the second Sunday in January, the 10th of January, when God-fearing people were in church Sunday morning, take yourself, went over Marriott. Take yourself, went over Marriott. Go discuss land deal. $2 a square foot, 1,200 acres. And the man ain't in government yet. He's saying, when I get in government, these are the things I will do. These are the things I will do. And he knew the man was taping him. Because the man said, if I am going to give you all of this money, if I'm going to give you $1.4 million, then I have to make sure at the end of the day that you don't pull back on me. That you don't pull back. So let's roll the tape. Let's roll the tape. And it's when the man started to talk about all the lands that he needed. The lands at Whitegate. The lands at Saugerlies. And when he reached there, Mr. Grant said, no, Saugerlies are my turf. Saugerlies are my turf. That's supposed to belong to me and my father. And so the man said, yeah, Well, deal done. You play hardball, me play hardball too. You play hardball, me play hardball too. And when the man done with him, is he break the news down in Sandy Point? The same Sunday night, is he broke the news down in Sandy Point? Same Sunday night, the 10th of January 2010, he broke the news down in Sandy Point. Because he knew it was going to come out. Because he knew the man had him on the tape. But these are only part of the aspirations of these vagabonds. Only part of the story that you have been told. I want to say to you that Glenn Ghost Philip has been undermined by his colleagues who are now former colleagues. Undermined. He was undermined in 2010. And for the last 3 years, they have sought to undermine his progress and his ability to deal with the people of this constituency. But that is over now. That is over now. And going forward, Glenn Ghost Philip will be the man for you to represent you in Parliament and to deliver to you on the promises of a Labour administration. So I want you, people of Old Road, people of Number 4, to remember this young man who came to you in 2010. You gave him 5 years, but it has been cut short apparently because of some vagabonds who want their own way in government. Renew his contract, renew his contract, renew his contract, and make sure that when the elections are called, in not too long from now, Glenn Ghost Philip is returned to the people of constituency Number 4. God bless you, and may God continue to bless us all.
Comrades, let us give Nigel Carty a round of applause. Good speech. Sound speech.